name's Justin Derrick. I'm originally from Pennsylvania, but I moved to California about 9 years ago. Motorcycles were kind of always around me ever since I was a kid. My mom had a lot of friends that rode Harleys. We lost a couple friends actually that rode Harleys, but she would always ride with a friend of ours. They'd go on pretty long rides.
Your aspirations as a child, would be like you wanted to be a policeman or a firefighter. You wanted to ride a motorcycle. You wanted to be in the movies. You wanted to be a muscle man. Everything that came along with being a young kid, that was part of it.
My name's Scott Tillery, and I've been running a motorcycle shop here in Bakersfield, California for about the last 10 years. Started up the shop to kind of begin my racing career. I figured the only way I could get the ball rolling there would be to be self-employed, because asking your bosses for time off to go racing is hard. And when the crashes happen, it's kind of hard to say, I want to come back to work, but I'm kind of broken. Is that still cool? At the age of 4, I started riding. I kind of looked at my brother and my dad. They had some dirt bikes, did some desert enduro racing, and I just thought it was the coolest thing.
I rode my first motorcycle actually after I made the decision to purchase one. It was different to say the least, because it was kind of nerve-wracking because I had never been on a motorcycle, but I was incredibly excited. So all that wrapped together, it was just enjoyable. It was fun. It wasn't as dangerous as I thought it was. It wasn't dangerous at all. But a day and a half, 2 days later, I bought my first motorcycle.
I always had a fascination with bikes. I always loved street bikes, the sound of the throttle and the exhaust, and just the feeling of being free and going off and riding for as long as I wanted to, so it always fascinated me to be able to do that.
I did a straight across trade to get my first street bike. And the first day we went out, man, the very first day with my buddy, who I intended, like, this is gonna be my riding buddy right now, from now till forever. The first day we went out, I literally picked up the bike early in the morning and we went to one of the windy roads up here in Bakersfield. We made it there just safe and sound, and everything was perfect, and I was feeling it on the bike. I was like, man, I got real used to this thing real quick. And on the way back, my buddy crashed right in front of me. The best thing about it was a very big eye-opener. Just like, wow, I've got to really check myself, or I'm gonna get in over my head. I gotta be safe, or I'm gonna lose not only the investment on the bike, but some bodily harm's bound to happen.
When I first got the Kawasaki as the first bike I owned, I was scared to death. Why? Mainly because I didn't know how to ride it, and the only way to get good at it is to ride on the street and to learn. Man, the feeling of riding for the first time, your heart's pounding, and it was exciting. It was exciting. It was a lot of power that I wasn't quite used to.
Some of the things that I heard from people around me was that it's dangerous. If I get one, I'm gonna die. That so many people have died. And then everybody has a horror story of either someone that they know, or they saw a news clipping or a video on the news of how this person or that person was killed in a motorcycle accident.
Well, it never fails. There's always somebody's uncle that got, an amputation, a death, or it's always somebody's uncle. I swear it is. Oh man, my uncle had a bike one time, and he died on it.
You hear the sayings of, it's not about if you're gonna fall, it's about when, you're taking your life in your own hands. Do you like your legs? Do you like your arms? A lot of people have negative comments about it.
We all come and go, so you don't have to rush it, my dad always said. You don't have to rush it. You're gonna get there soon. But there's no sense in living in fear all the time. I think it's one of those hobbies that you can have your whole life. I've met fellas that are in their 80s and beyond that still ride, still enjoy it. And motorcycling will keep you young or kill you young. There's two ways of going about it there.
I've just become a fan of riding basically because it's a sense of freedom. I get on the bike, and riding in a car, everybody rides in a car, and I like to drive too. It's a hobby. I love cars. I have a Subaru WRX, I've had a 350Z, I've had a Jeep Wrangler 4-door, I've had the Mitsubishi Lancer and an SRT4 Neon. I've had tons of cars, and I just love to drive. I'll drive for days. When I drove across country, it was just the best thing, seeing the sights. So getting on a motorcycle is just an even better feel, because you feel the wind, and there's nothing really holding you down. down. You're just riding with the motor underneath you, and it's a sense of freedom. No one can touch me. You know, I'm off riding, and it doesn't matter where I go. I try to get lost. I'll take random roads. I see things I've never seen, and I end up home. So it's just definitely an opportunity for me to think, collect my thoughts, and listen to music and kind of zone out from reality.
It's such a great vehicle to enjoy and to have fun on and just to ride. It's a whole different experience. Just think about it, if you have no cage around you whatsoever, you're just riding on top of the vehicle. I mean, it is so much fun. The wind just all around you, the power and the speed that you have at your hands. Not pushing with your foot, but you're turning the throttle. All those things, it's just fun. I mean, I heard somebody explain it as like flying low to the ground.
I'm a fan of it because you can do it as long as you live, and I just think it's a great dance, a great dance between man and machine, more so than anyone in any car. It seems like the heavier the machine, the less of a dance it is, and it's more you're just being drug along. But on these, you are working hand in hand, hand in the handlebar with the machine to make it do the things that it needs to do. And the more you ride, the more fancier ways you find to manipulate the bike into doing what it's supposed to do or what you want it to do. And so that's just always been amazing to me.